Welcome to Development Discourse. I would like you to spend the next 1 minute or two to give us a brief introduction about yourself and also the event.
Okay, so my name is David Adeleke. Brief fact about myself, right? A founder, third-time founder, more in the open banking space, right? Then other than that, I'm an ecosystem builder. And as a result of this, that led to the birth of Ibadan Startup Fest, which I happen to be one of the organizers amongst the beautiful teams that we have. So basically, what is ISF Summit? And it's tech enthusiasts, entrepreneurs, startups, investors, government, policymakers, key stakeholders in the industry. And the goal of it is very simple. One is to create a platform for founders, like minds to network, to meet each other one, and also a platform where they get to learn across different spectrum of the ladder, whether you are entry level or you're a founder, or even if you're a C-suite. So we have masterclass, we have workshop sessions, right, for people on top of the ladder. And it's also a bridge to close the gap between investors funding and beautiful startups that are building awesome stuff. So that's why we have things like the chatting session. So yeah, so I don't go too much into the details, right? This is the third year wherein we host the annual event called Ibadan Startup Fest in the city of Ibadan. Thank you.
All right. So there are a number of events like yours. We see them in Lagos, in Abuja. It's coming to Ibadan now. What's the unique selling point about the event? How is it different from other tech events across the country?
So first of all, I wanted to say there are no other events that is like ISF Summit, right? But then there are different people with their different missions. So that's where the question comes into place, like what's the USP? What makes Ibadan stand out, right? So first of all, Ibadan is just a 1 hour drive or less, depending on what speed you are running at from Lagos. And we all know that Lagos is, which seemingly, quote unquote, is the Silicon Valley of Nigeria, right? We can even argue Africa. But then Ibadan is just going through, right, has a lot of potentials in terms of access to markets, in terms of talent, resources, low cost of infrastructure, right? So what we're trying to do with this conference, right, is to carve out a niche in the Southwest region for a start, which is to expand into other regions across Africa, right? Wherein we are accelerating growth and promoting innovations, or accelerating innovation and promoting growth, right? On the locality level, that's in the grassroots level. So that's one of the major things that makes us stand out from other events. So, there are the Moonshot, there are the African Tech Summit in Kigali and other part of the world. But the question is, how many grassroots founders, how many people that are still bootstrapping have, I could even literally say, the financial cost of attending those kind of events, wherein they still get to have that kind of value, right? So that's basically what we're doing. So what was making us stand out is the fact that we are bringing it to the grassroots level to interact properly and closely with the founders, with the startup ecosystem at the extremely early stage, bringing funding, also bringing opportunities, bringing partners. Last year we brought over $100,000 in AWS credit and Huawei credit, right? So we've seen more and more of that. So yeah, those are like things that make us stand out, rather than just a regular event where people just come, listen to the same set of people they listen to every time. Right now, another thing that makes us stand out is the fact that we've been able to diversify the sectors of which our topics are in terms of our panel sessions. So right now we have, this afternoon, we have about 69 speakers coming. So we're having 3 stages on that same day. right? So there are different sessions that we can simultaneously at the same time. So you are interested in logistics, you go to the logistics stage, you check the agenda. You're interested in finance, you go to finance. So we've been able to, like I said, the goal is to bring it down to the people, right? And make something very impactful. So those are like what makes us stand out from other events. Not as far we are in direct competition per se, but everybody have their own niche and we are trying to like solve. So this is it for us.
Okay, so I would like to combine two things together. Give us a brief history. When did it start? And I would also like you to combine it with what's your long-term vision for the event?
Okay, so I smiled when you asked for the history, right? I hardly share this story with quite a number of people, but I think I'll put it up on this platform. So this Ibadan Startup Fest that is looking at hosting over 2,500 attendees for a space of 3 days with people traveling from at least 7 countries in the city of Ibadan, right? It was meant to be a founders connect, like a small meetup in my office in Ibadan for just 20 people, right? That was the original story for this conference. And what led to that was the fact that I saw myself, I'm building a startup from Ibadan. There are other startup founders also that are building from Ibadan, the likes of A-Food that got into YC, we have quite a number of beautiful startups that have raised millions of dollars. But the only funny thing for Ibadan was everybody was building in silos. So you are building on your own. You don't relate it. You don't know who else is even building in Ibadan. And the next all of us will go to Lagos for maybe the bigger or the big conferences. We'll now meet ourselves that, oh, you're from Ibadan. You're the founder of this thing. And I'm like, what's going on? So we're like, oh, when we get back to Ibadan, right, we would have something small, invite ourselves, let's drink, let's wine. In my small office, 20 people max. Then we opened registration. We created a Google form. And lo and behold, I think in the first day of registration, among just the Ibadan community, we had over 100. So we said, okay, we'll take a workstation, like that can accommodate 100. More registration keeps coming in. The long and short of it, we had to take a venue and we hosted at least minimum of 800 for the first edition for something that was supposed to be a 20-man gathering. And now you can see the start for this year already. So this long-term plan. So it's not just going to be an event. The main goal, I was in Muskin at Kigali quite a number of times, right? And it marvels me the kind of infrastructure that is there in a bid to enable people. So our long-term goal, right, is to see how we can build a hub, own a hub or create a hub, like a real hub that has different facilities in terms of that can accelerate startup founders, has workshop classes, you probably have lounge, have conference room, like build a Silicon Valley in a building, right? And I will say Ibadan, because Ibadan is still like a focal point to other Southwest region. Easy access to Lagos, Ogbomoso, Ondo, Akure, Osun, different. So Ibadan still looks like that center point, right? So make it the Southwest HQ, right, of the urban, have different centers at other various states. So the goal of this hub is to nurture ideas. And the overall goal is to better the economy at large, right? And it's by just doing it in the little way. So part of the reason why this event is holding now is we have been meeting that DJ coming into town from Abuja, right? So these are conversations we're looking forward to, because it can be done, it's not a one-man team. It takes effort, collaboration from all parts. So the event is just like a center point to bring in people who come and see what's happening in Ibadan, right? Come and invest in Ibadan, right? And let's see what we can do together for Nigeria at large, then Africa. So yeah, thank you.
Okay, that's amazing. Let's talk about the journey so far. Give us a highlight. What has been the metrics that you could say keep the event tick every year?
Okay, so first thing first is I would like to maybe this medium to make a special shout out to some of our sponsors, both in the present and in the past. We've had amazing sponsors like Google, the Alternative Bank, Z Africa. I'm not to mention Z Africa, right? Quite a number, both even Carify, Seki app, right? That's both local companies and even outside Ibadan. They're not just even that international companies, like of Floridian, part of our sponsors for this year. People are traveling far and wide. So without them believing in the vision and backing it with their resources and the endorsement, right, is as good as the projects might not see the next year or the next event. So first of all, those are like backbones, right? Sponsors, right? That want the betterment of the ecosystem. Then also, right, the fact that we've been able to see awesome testimonies. Like I said, it was an event meant to host just 20 people. And from 20 people, we had 800 in attendance for the first edition. Second edition, we had close to 2,000 over a space of 2 days. And now this year now, I can't even imagine what we're looking out for, right? Then just last year, we see quite a number of our founders raised in tune of over $300,000. At $300,000, that's roughly over 600 to 900 million. Yeah, depending on the exchange rate, right? Invested in the city of Ibadan. So then we've seen a lot of partnerships that sprung from just the last 2 years, right? Up to now, we still, on our platform, we still get a lot of testimony. One that touched me the most was someone reached out, was like, oh, he's not around, he cannot attend this year event, but he's going to volunteer and give everything he can do. Why? Because he got a job from last year event, which shoot him off and set him off in his career for a very good trajectory. So these are things that keeps us going, right? That keeps the events for us want to do better. So I think you someone mentioned challenges, right? So one of the challenges still we in Ibadan have noticed we're not too good at storytelling yet. I would say maybe Nigeria generally, but at least I'm relating it to Ibadan. A lot of things is going down in Ibadan, but yet they are not amplifying the voice out there. So some people have some wrong notion about the city of Ibadan. So, I lost a very big deal. Or let me just say myself and the team, we lost a very, very big deal in over $25,000, right? From a sponsor. I wanted to sponsor the event. And they're an international sponsor, right? But the fact that the event was in Ibadan, not in Lagos, threw them off. We've gone fine. So, and I'm in Ibadan, yeah, they are surprised, like, oh, yeah, Ibadan. I said, yes, I'm in Ibadan. Nothing is happening. So we need to tell the right story of what's going on. So that's a challenge, even companies, HNI, some stakeholders, even in Lagos, in the tech space, right? You reach out to them, you're like, oh, Ibadan, what's happening in Ibadan? Not knowing that a lot is happening in Ibadan. Well, this event is also an eye-opener, right? Most of them are coming down to see, hey, what's happening in Ibadan? I want to see it for myself. So we're trying our best to project the right image and what's really actually happening in Ibadan.
Wow. I was just about to ask, a number of these tech events, they kind of claim, a geographical coverage of Africa, Nigeria, and all of that, and maybe at the least Lagos, right? But everybody wants to claim that they are on a bigger stage. And this is you chesting out and saying, this is Ibadan, right? What's the attraction for you, or what's the bold claim?
You'll be shocked to know that Money Point, when they started, we saw that they raised $110 million. They did most of their bidding from this same city of Ibadan for 4 years as team acts. They were bidding from Ibadan. So Zee Africa, we're doing good, right? A-Food, I keep mentioning them, right? They've got into YC, YC is one of the these are places where companies like Facebook also went to give them their jump shoots, and they are doing very good from Ibadan. So the question is, there is a lot of benefits Ibadan has to offer. So I think I mentioned a couple before, but I'll just reiterate maybe 1 or 2 or 3 of them. So first is a conducive environment that is not overcrowded in terms of, and also in terms of cost of living. So as a founder, you want to be very prudent with your spending. As a business owner, you want to reduce your costs, right? So you can have more profit margin. So that's Ibadan is there for you, right? Ibadan has the market. it's fact that Ibadan is the third largest city in either West Africa or Africa, one of the two. So, and this largest city is not just filled with just land, it's filled with people. So if you can build business solutions that can address the needs of people, right, you have a very good market, right, in Ibadan, like you have a very good audience. So that's that, right? Then also, it's a work in progress though. Looking forward to the government being more active, especially on the tech space in Ibadan. They are doing their best, they are trying, but we believe it can be better. So these are things that are making us positioned to see that, okay, there is some good opportunity despite the challenges we are facing in the ecosystem at large.
All right, so let me take it from where you stopped. The federal government, took a bold step and included digital economy in the name of a ministry. So we now have Ministry of Communication and Digital Economy. Okay, what's the implication of that? What does that say about what's your view about that, in terms of what it portends for the industry? And do you think state governments should also follow suit by creating dedicated agencies for digital economy?
Okay, so the same issue I keep having with the way we do things in the country right now is I'm sure if you go and talk to the Director General, whoever passes that notion, right, when they say it's going to make beautiful sense, it's going to look applaudable. But the same issue we still have in our way of doing things in this country is we don't think through things in the sense that this is the beautiful idea. What is the execution plan? What are the milestones? What is the problem it's trying to solve? And how are we going to even assess ourselves, right? How are we going to assess this thing that we are implementing? Okay, what are the milestones to check? Because that's it. So, like I said, the concept is beautiful. It's nice. But it's not just about the idea. It's not just about the action. It's about executing it and following through to track whether it's solving the problem they created that ministry to for. All right. So it's not a function of whether it's a beautiful initiative or not. It's a very beautiful initiative if the sole purpose of what it's created for, it's been done and done appropriately, and whoever is set in charge of those for starters are held accountable, right? So I think that's my own stand, my own view on those kind of matters.
Do you think that should trickle down to states too? Should states create dedicated agencies for digital economy or startup economy?
So I don't think they need to create another this thing. Now there is the ICT. I'll use, for lack of a better word, department already in the state level. So even if they are creating it, I don't think it needs to be its own establishment. It can just be a project, right? Still under that ministry. So it's not just about having multiple offices or multiple positions. It's about getting the job done. So if you even have an office, right, you can just use that office to drive it. So I think that's my recommendation.
All right. Okay. So I want you to discuss, what are the local challenges that startup face, in terms of, what are the biggest challenges faced by startups, especially in Ibadan, and by extension, Southwest Nigeria. And, I would like you to talk a little about, digital infrastructure and also funding, if these are challenges.
So from my stand view, right, the challenges that, let's start with just Ibadan, right? Challenges that Ibadan startup ecosystem is facing is, I'm going to call them out, right? It's there's little or no collaboration within themselves as number one. People are trying. Myself, I'm trying, and there are quite a number of people also in the startup ecosystem, right, that are trying. But is as though, I don't know why, but it's a problem. This is a call to wake up, right? The startup ecosystem in Ibadan, first of all, needs to collaborate together, shake hands together. And I mean, even the old boom of tech in Nigeria, we can also trace it back to CCO by Honorable Bosunti January in Yaba, which was where we met the power of collaboration and partnership. So that's one of the major challenges the ecosystem is facing in Nigeria. Then also we'll call it digital infrastructure, not just the digital part, right, but also the what's it called, infrastructure parts in terms of hubs. So we have quite a number of hubs in Ibadan to speak right now. I mean, last year we used Cafe One by Sterling Bank, right? There's the bunker and there's quite a number of other hubs, right, in Ibadan. But if truth be told, these are just workstations. This is not what the hub is meant to look like. I mean, maybe because I've been out there and I've seen quite a number of hubs and what the standard tech hub is meant to look like, right? We don't really have, we need to, like, the government or we or PPP, whatever it is, need to invest more in building, enabling infrastructure in terms of hubs. So we need to also even shy away from just the soft, what's it called? I think the soft part of tech. We need to go also into the hardware part of tech. That's one thing we don't have in Nigeria as we ought to. So there needs to be like facilities or experimental center, research centers, right? That helps to bring brilliant mind that wants to build, they can build whether a motorboard, build systems that are pure hardware, right? It's a very big market, trust me, a very, very big one that will help the economy of the country at large, right? So that's infrastructure. Then also, right, the funding part, yeah. But then it's not just specific to Ibadan, but it's I mean, we're already getting gradually out of the funding winter that we got into since I think 2022 up to like early part of this year, right? Where there was like very low investment in funds. I mean, that's another entire topic on its own. However, there is this thing that I keep, I mean, I got it from quite a number of people, and I'm also an advocate of it, right? Is the fact that startups, they should learn how to like sit comfortably with their valuation in Naira, raise money from local investors, raise your money in Naira. You don't necessarily need to go and start looking for a foreign investor that will give you dollars before you do your business. You can say, hey, I'm raising 20 million, I'm raising 200 million, right? Go after local investors. So in terms of whether it's a challenge or not, so it's a challenge or a deficit rather in Ibadan. So this is also like a call to investors. I mean, people that are putting their money in real estate in Ibadan, yeah, we know them. They are there, they are plenty. They need to also see how they can go a little bit out of real estate, put your money also in this tech team. So like become local LPs and invest money, because this is the future of the country.
Okay, let me ask you this very emotional question. You just mentioned now the real estate. There's a lot of money going into real estate investment. There's also a lot of money from the private sector that is going into the entertainment industry. Do you feel jealous?
That's an interesting question. Do I feel jealous? I mean, entertainment is a very big industry, not just Nigeria, across the world. So it's naturally of its own accord as a way of attracting funding to itself. But this is still a call, like I keep saying, to the guys with the money. You don't necessarily need to, like, there are different places. I mean, look into the tech, that not just the tech, right? Look into proper business structure, right? That it's going to like help the future. So back to the question, is it about jealousy? It's not about jealousy, it's just about we keeping the balance.
Okay, so we've seen some startup companies become unicorn. At least Nigeria has produced how many unicorn now? Maybe 2 or 3. Okay.
6, right?
Okay, yeah. So what exactly is still now holding the tech startup industry back from attracting, from being the darling of investors?
Okay, so see, on this question, there are quite a lot. So let me just see how many I can do in a very short time. So number one is, and I also related to why we are doing Ibadan Startup Fest, or like why I host summits across the world. The fact that some of our founders or people that are building, right, they don't have some of them just have idea and they don't understand the business of their idea, right? So some people just say, I want to build I don't know, maybe keke for Uber or something. I don't know. You want to build something, right? You understand the idea, you don't understand the business aspect. So that's why there are summits like ISF, wherein we host masterclass. We bring experienced and successful Inyaboyeji of that's currently the founding partner of Managing Africa. He has 3 unicorns to his name. So it was around last year. He's coming again this year, right? And we're having a fireside chat with him. So these are people that have gone ahead. They've seen things. So for us in Nigeria, I mean, for founders, right, we need to first learn how these people have done things, what are the do's and don'ts. So these are what the event is coming for. Then secondly, right, another reason why funding has been slowed down in Nigeria is the fact that when it started, it was like a boom. And for everything that is a boom, it has its breaking point. So that it has actually burst. Yeah. So now the real process has started already. So I can tell you this for a fact. There's a lot of money that investors have and they want to invest in startups in Nigeria. I'm telling you this one for a fact. I get a lot of mails. I see a lot of funds. But the question now is, it's not just like before that. They just want to see, or that maybe people that don't really have the right motive of building a startup, they just wanted to come and cash out. Like, oh, let me see what I can build, raise money, pay myself a ridiculous salary, and exit. I mean, it's someone's money, so you cannot just, you have to be accountable. So the funds manager, they are extra careful now. So they want to be sure that you say you are doing this thing, you are building it. So it's not as if there is no more funds, especially in money point to just prove that there's still money. 110 million, it's their unicorn status just early this month. Yes, early this month, right? So there's still money. So the only issue now, part of the issues is the fact that now they are taking their time to see the real startups to filter both the good from the bad. Then also founders also needs to learn the business of the whole tech idea that they have. There's the business aspect. So say, for example, now the story said that Jeff Bezos raising $1 million back then, right? One thing that investors want to see, they want to see, do you know your tech? Do you know what you are doing? Which, as that case would have been internet, based on the illustration, right? And how will you make me money in the near future? So I believe if you can comfortably sell this thing to starting investors, right, they'll be willing to take the bet and like invest in you. So yeah, I think that's where I'll got it.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much for that. Okay, my next question will focus on, you spoke earlier about the hubs that we have presently as being more like a workstation. That's a good way to start. That's a good place to start. But what needs to happen to scale it up so that we can start having real tech hubs like it's supposed to be? What needs to happen? What needs to change?
Yeah, so I think it's orientation. That's the first that needs to happen, because a lot of people don't know, and you can't do what you don't know. That's a big limitation, right? So orientation, that's one. Then two would be the fund managers, the builders, corporate institutions. Beautiful things Sterling Bank is doing with the Cafe One, cutting their branches across different places, right? So want to see more of that, right? Now, not just for soft tech, but for hardware tech now, especially in the whole IoT aspect. So that's, it's a very big thing, right? Then also see, there is nothing we can do much without, I don't want to go into politics, but the way our constitution is structured in Nigeria, it's more of a lot of power is being wielded by the government, whether I like it or not, right? And since we found ourselves in that position, so that means the government themselves, they need to like, I mean, mind you, government does not do business. They have no, it's not their responsibility to do business, but it's their responsibility to create an enabling ecosystem, especially with the kind of power they wield in the kind of with the constitution that we're operating in this country, right? They need to like give that nudge to what's it called, to facilitate research facilities, people building IoTs. Let them have soft landing, let them have aids, let them get proper regulatory bodies from the government or from wherever it's set up. So these are like things that if the enabling platform is on ground, there are bright minds, there are people that are thinking the way I'm thinking, right? That wants to get things done. I don't want to build the next spaces. I want to build the next rocket. From Nigeria, you'll be shocked. So what we just need is that enabling environment and support, which, I mean, government still has a role to play in it also. Then if government is not doing it, large corporations, individuals, funds, foreign investors, I mean, it's a collaborative effort.
Okay. All right. I would like to ask you a question. You know, since you started, what would you say as the top 3 most impressive ideas that have been pitched at your events that you think are kind of innovative?
Okay, there was one guy that pitched last year, very bright guy. I had to like send to request for him. Even quite a number of our investors requested for him, right? So I think he was building a kind of glass, right, that helps to correct, not just to correct eyesight, but to also like read. And it's using AI to like get it done. And one of the major reasons that stuck out from his venture was the fact that he had the eye defects, right? And he did not just settle at that. He was able to like turn that to build a solution to solve a problem that every other people were facing. That was a mind blowing. I can't remember the unit economy or the business model again, but then it stood out for me. Then also, I mean, there are quite a lot of platforms. What am I not to talk about Z Africa? Z Africa is also a product that stands out also from the event, right? And what we're just trying to do at Z Africa is to make lender make smarter lending decisions. So currently there's over $360 billion credit gap in Africa. So we are looking forward to how we can close that gap by playing in the open banking space, which involves aggregating data from different data houses, especially the financial data from the financial institutions, right? To make it accessible to third-party players in the fintech space or in the financial service space, or even in any of the ecosystem space, right? To build innovative solutions, right? And also to build data-driven solutions. So that's another unique product that technically stands out, right, from the whole ISF conference. Then third would be, there's this guy building, what's it called? Converting gas to, battery. So it's literally making most of all these vehicles, tricycles to be precise, right? EV tricycles. And that's a way to it's a big challenge. Price of fuel is going off the roof, right? And we have been able to find a way to build batteries, which is still being charged with solar panels at the changing sites, right? So there are a lot of beautiful ideas that I've seen over the years.
It's more like the top 3 most impressive to you are ideas that solve social issues, because I see a lot of startups in the finance sectors, and little or very minimal numbers in addressing social issues in agriculture, in education. Why is that?
So I don't want to say, maybe people just want to follow the money. Because they believe, it's tech, it's fintech, that's where money is. So maybe people are just going there for the. I don't have any statistics to back that. That was just for the lighter note. So, funny enough, this could actually be a lot of people want to do. And the funny thing is we keep still doing the same thing someone else is doing. You want to build payment API, someone else has built it. You say you want to make your own better. I mean, I don't have an issue with that. It's good, right? But another main reason why that is done is because it's something that the entry market, I mean, access to entry is low, even though there are very high regulatory bodies that would ban you. Say, for example, a lot of people going into the loan business, building loan app to give loans, right? It's good. I mean, it's awesome. But then the barrier to entry is quite minimal compared to now having to go to, say you want to build, you want to go into the agri-tech space, or you want to go into like asset-heavy businesses. You would need quite a chunk of capital to run that, as against just building the app that can send money from A to B, right? You don't need much. You don't even need any assets. Or you just need to get your laptop built, get your SLAs to get to your licenses that's needed. So that could be another major reason. And that was why I also said earlier that the government needs to play a very good role in creating this system easy for players and people that want to build to like come in. Because there was this thing I saw, when was that, in Abuja, right? During Nasdaq hackathon on AI. So there was this guy, they are building an AI that predicts weather, not just predicts weather, it takes drone satellite images, right, of a large expanse of farm and checks the color and matches it to say, okay, is this farm infested? What's the expected harvest cycle? I mean, with all this kind of data, right, it's going to solve another very big social problem that we're facing, which is hunger in the country. Right.
So the digital life is becoming second nature, if not first nature, actually. I mean, it's the way we live now. We practically live on our phones. Some people are even abandoning the TVs in their homes and focusing on their phones. And you know, so digital life is becoming just our nature. You know? And there is so much about it, particularly in the cybersecurity. There's so much data that is flying around, data protection and all of that. So government needs to play a big role, like you've been saying now. You know, why is it that, you know, we do not have this proactiveness, you know, from our public sector? You know, what advocacy, and how are you using your platform to address this?
Okay, so let me start with the ending part with how the Africa addresses this problem. So one of our feature of Africa is the KYC feature, which is an acronym for Know Your Customer. So since we are plugged to most of the database that houses identity data of individuals, right? So we've been able to like make it available in APIs, wherein new companies or new startups can easily verify the identity of people by leveraging our infrastructure. Then we not just stop there. We even went ahead to build an algorithm, which we call liveliness check. So imagine you want to log in into maybe do a verification system and they ask you to take a selfie image. Then we match the selfie image that is taken on your phone, right, with the image that you have on any of your government database, be it BVN, NIN, or voter's card, as the case were, so that we can ascertain or help the company to ascertain that, oh, this person logging in or getting access to this account is the true owner of the account, or the person creating this identity is the true owner of the identity. So we are playing a very interesting and big role in curbing frauds, leveraging the open banking that we have, right? So that's one. So the other part was, I think you asked the
proactiveness
responsiveness
of the public sector.
Of the public sector. So it's still 50-50, if I'm being honest, right? Because I mean, I can see the work they are doing, right? So they're working. But the question now is, I don't want to be controversial. Are they doing it the right way? Right? So that's the question. So whether they are, I mean, since the open banking for an example now, we've been on this thing for over 5 years, 4 years, give or take, right? And the best we've gotten from CBN is just, what's it called? A framework and a guideline. So there are two sides to this. So, I mean, I analyze a lot of things from different angles. I don't just follow one way. So there is the part of where we as founders, permit me to say, we are a fast kind of orientation. We have that kind of much into the downside, right? So that's why some of these things that's why some of us are complaining that, hey, why is it taking so long to get this thing done? And they, on the other hand, say the possible regulators, right? They are taking their time. They need to understand the nitty-gritty of everything. Because if they just jump at it and they build it, and now the one major thing we cannot curb is fraud. There's always fraud. You only get better in like mitigating fraud. The more you get better, the more you get better, right? So, say for example, as a regulator now at the public space, you do not analyze the end-to-end. You do not check all the downfall. You just succumb to the pressure of, oh, we need to go live, and you just sign it into existence, right? And now we start hearing things of data loss. We start seeing people losing their money here and there, right? The whole blame will still come back to the regulator. So there are certain things that they can do better and they can do faster. I mean, I keep advocating for that. I keep telling them at every chance I get, you can do this thing. I give my suggestion almost every time, like do it this way, get it better, right? Get it faster. But also on the consumer part, we need to also still understand that there are processes, right? Say for example now, we in Nigeria, we see we are still one of the ones that have the best financial system in the world. You cannot do a same-day settlement transaction in the US, right? Yeah, you can't do it. So, but yeah, in Nigeria, through the help of NIPS, even though, I mean, those people, their downtime is like 5 and 6, but I believe they are doing their best, right? So we still have one of the best. So it's a process, right? And the major thing we should identify is the fact that it's a process, it's a working process, and the public are more faster, and also the private sector, the consuming part, they need to like see how they can offer enough help and the public sector also they need to be willing and open to take that offer of hand to like collaborate together and like build a better ecosystem at large.
All right. So as we begin to wind down this interview, I would like to ask you one more question. Still in the public space. I mean, we've spoken about the challenge of funding, the challenge of digital infrastructure, the challenge of regulatory environment. But I think the least we can do is to ensure the proper integration of IT into our education sector. So I want to ask for your view. Should this happen? At what stage do we need to take this quite seriously? Is it the primary school level, the secondary school level, or the university?
So how far back should we go? I would say as far back as to nursery, primary school. Rework the curriculum, right? Ensure that it's been followed to the letters. Like imbibe it in them. It's the future. There is no way we're going to. I mean, and if we are still lacking behind on like basic understanding and knowledge, right, especially in the primary level, there's little to what we can understand when we even get to the tertiary or to the university level, right? So, I mean, this is more of a challenge to not even this was not just to government again. It's a challenge to individuals, parents, right? We need to take education very, very serious for not just even our own relative or family, but for the extended upcoming people that we are seeing. Because literally, these are people in the next 10, 15 years. The question is, if they are not grounded on things like this, if they don't even know certain things, what would they be in the society in the next 10 years, 15 years, 20 years from now? Are we not thinking in the nearest future? So how far back do we need to like imbibe all this into our education system? Is as far back as the primary school level, or as far back as a child can learn properly, right? They need to we need to create a new concept, a new ideology of how they can build things of their own, and not everybody just, I mean, it's a major issue. So to summarize your question, is as far back as early stage B.
Okay, all right. Thank you for that view. Okay, so back to the event. What will you say would be the highlight of this year's edition of Ibadan Startup Fest?
So I think one of the highlights right now that I'm looking forward to seeing is quite a number of our founders to get into this GenF fund. So there's this GenF fund that we're bringing to the Ibadan in partnership with what's it called, 54 VC, Collective VC, right? So it's a $10,000 grant they give to startups, early stage, whether it's an idea stage, whether you're building, whether you're generating traction, right? Then they push you in for a 4-month accelerator program. Then if you do well during the course of that 4 month, right, they do a full-on investment of $250,000. So like this is something I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of people get into it, and I mean they can pick as many as possible as long as it fits into the criteria of what they want. Then also the pitching session where we have partners like Data Million bringing AWS Cloud. We have quite a number of partners and sponsors, right, bringing in services that the finalists or the startups that are pitching we win. Then also we have courtesy of some of our sponsors like Sidfy, right? There are cash prize to be won for startup founders. So what we're just trying to do on this aspect that I just talked about is to show startup that they should keep building, whether now or later. People like us or other people, we bring up reward system to compensate the hard work they are putting into the whole ecosystem. Because I mean, they could still opt in to go and get a job. But the question is, who is going to solve the unemployment problem in Nigeria? It's founders, we builders, people creating values, right? So we see them, we identify them, and we are looking forward to like seeing how we can reward them and support them. So those are things I'm looking forward to, right, at the conference. Then we have over 60-something lineup of speakers. So, I mean, it's a great honor. I mean, quite a number of people I've not seen, I've not spoken to. I just shot them a message on LinkedIn. I would like to bring you to Ibadan, come and teach. We've seen what you've done. Oluwakom is coming. I can't start mentioning their names, right? Quite a number of big people, they are coming. So it's also an interesting moment for me to see how they're coming to impact people that they've gone ahead, they've seen things they've learned, right? They want to now come and teach us. I mean, because me myself, I mean, I'm going to learn a lot as much as possible, right? So, and also the final part, because of time, with the networking aspects. Like I said, there's little or not much we can do without collaborating, working together, joining effort together. So it's also a platform for people to come and network, have good time, catch up with friends, start business, talk business idea, get your next co-founder, get your next staff.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much.
And yeah, thank you.
Okay. One more question. Are there any post-event support that you have for the attendee?
Yes, so we do. I mean, we currently we are in the process of sending at least 5 startups to one of our partner, Data Melon, that does, they don't just offer crowd credit, they assist with their cloud infrastructure, cost cutting, AI implementation, and what have you. So this is even pre-events that we started. Then, I mean, so we have quite a number also, just like the GenF funds. It's a full-on 4-month program, right? I don't know, Tosin could maybe help me spell the name of Ondi. I think that's Office of Nigeria National Department of Testing, right? So they have their own programs also that they are looking forward to coming on board with us so we can extend it after the program. That also is coming on board, right? By default, to get us at the commitment with the government, right, on futuristic programs or activities or accelerators that we can run. So that it's not just going to stop at the program, and see how we could fast track the whole idea and get it running.
Okay, thank you very much, David, for coming on Development Discourse, and I wish you all the best your events.
Thank you very much.